Welcome to Happy Happenings Kids TV, where entertainment, programming, and artificial intelligence learning meets motivation for all ages.
All right, let's talk about database systems. But instead of some dry technical lecture, we're going to frame this as a journey. You know, a story of growth that kind of mirrors our own lives, from the very first things we learn all the way to the complex world we navigate as adults.
So here's a weird question for you, right? What could a baby's first word possibly have to do with a global banking transaction? Well, the answer gets at a really fundamental truth. The impulse to organize one tiny piece of information is the exact same one that powers our entire global economy. It's all about turning raw, kind of meaningless data into powerful, structured knowledge. And that's the journey we're on today.
And this is our map. We're going to start in infancy with just the simple awareness of data. Then we'll move through childhood and adolescence, where we learn how to structure it and ask it questions. And finally, we'll get to adulthood, where we use all these skills to build the very world we live in. So our journey kicks off right at the beginning, infancy. This stage isn't about complexity at all. It's about pure awareness. It's that moment you first realize that this thing called data even exists, and that it's absolutely everywhere. Okay, so what is this data we're suddenly aware of? At its heart, a database is just a really smart way to store information. I know that formal definition sounds a bit technical, but think about it like this. Instead of a messy pile of papers all over your desk, you've got a perfectly organized filing cabinet. It's built from the ground up to make finding, adding, and getting rid of information super efficient. And that right there is the crucial first step. Just like a baby crawling around, our journey starts by simply noticing all the pieces. Names, numbers, dates, places. They're all around us, just waiting for us to make sense of them.
Okay, so now we're aware of all this data, we're moving into our childhood phase. And this is all about learning to organize our world, to take that chaos of individual data points and give them some kind of meaningful structure.
So how do we plan that structure? Well, we use something called an entity relationship diagram, or an ERD. It's basically the blueprint. Think of it like a kid arranging blocks labeled students, courses, and teachers, and then drawing lines between them to show how they're all connected. It's a visual map of our data before we ever start building anything.
Once we've got our blueprint, it's time to tidy up. This process is called normalization, and I know it sounds intimidating, but it's really just about preventing future headaches. We do this to cut down on repeating data and to avoid these weird errors or anomalies that can pop up when the same piece of info is stored in multiple places. It's just about making our data logical and consistent. And these steps, first normal form, second, third, they're just progressive rules for cleaning house, and each one makes our data structure stronger and more reliable.
So, our data is now beautifully structured. We're entering adolescence. This is where we stop just organizing and we start interacting. We learn to talk to our database, to ask it questions, and unlock all the secrets that are hidden inside.
In this quote, it's just everything. It's true for us, and it's definitely true for our data. A perfectly structured database is really just a silent library until you ask it the right question. The real power isn't in just having the data, it's in our ability to ask it the good stuff. And this is how we ask those questions. We use a language called SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language. And look how straightforward it can be. We start with a simple question in English, we translate it into a simple line of SQL, and the database gives us a perfectly clean answer. It's honestly less like complex coding and more like having a very logical conversation.
Okay, now we're hitting adulthood. We've learned to see data, structure it, and talk to it. This is the stage where all those foundational skills come together to power the complex, high-stakes systems we all rely on every single day.
See, in the adult world, you need guarantees. Things have to work reliably. That's where the ACID properties come in. These 4 principles are basically a promise that every single transaction is solid. So for example, atomicity means a transaction either happens completely or not at all. It's why your money doesn't just disappear into thin air during a bank transfer. Consistency makes sure the data stays valid, isolation keeps different transactions from messing with each other, and durability means once something is done, it stays done.
And this promise matters a lot, because it's the bedrock of trust in our digital world. ACID properties are what keep our bank transactions secure, our hospital records accurate, our online shopping carts stable, and even our social media feeds consistent. It's like the invisible guardian protecting our most important data.
So, we've gone from simple awareness all the way to powerful applications. But you know what? Our journey isn't quite over. There's one final stage, and this one moves beyond just technical skill. It's about legacy, responsibility, and the real impact of the things we build.
So let's just recap this incredible journey real quick. We started in infancy with simple awareness. Then, in childhood, we learned to model and structure data. In adolescence, we found our voice, learning to ask questions with SQL. And finally, in adulthood, we applied all that knowledge to build the reliable systems that actually run our world.
And this brings us to what might be the most important point of all. The technical skills are the what and the how, but wisdom is about the why. It's about taking this incredible power to organize and understand information and using it to build things that aren't just clever, but are genuinely helpful and serve a greater purpose.
And so, we're going to end with a question for you. Understanding data gives you the tools to be an architect of our digital world. The only question left, and it's the most important one, is what kind of world will you choose to build?
Assalamualaikum everybody, kindly like, subscribe and share the Happy Happening Kids TV channel and send wonderful comments to enjoy and learn from very wonderful and beautiful videos.